How you doing, folks? We're a little bit early, but we're going to do a live show tonight. We're having to go live. Been working in an area where you didn't have a lot of cell signal today, so couldn't get the video to upload, so we're going to do this live. We'll wait a little bit and see how many join in here. Hello, Lisa. I see you there. We're going to do a live tonight. We'll wait till about 8 o'clock to get started. Hello, Janice. I see you there from Cleveland, Tennessee. Good to have you this evening. How you doing, Midway Farms? Benny, quit that. You can't bark at people walking. Benny. You have to forgive my little dog. He thinks he's got this king of the house thing, and he likes to show his authority, but he ain't but about 15 pounds. Tacoma, Washington. How you doing, Victoria? How's the weather out there? I see Rhonda from South Pittsburgh Mountain, Tennessee. Good to have you this evening. Sunny in Tacoma, Washington. Okay. Okay. We get about 8 o'clock here. We'll go ahead and start. Yeah, he is security, that's for sure. Benny, get over here. Come here. Get over here. Come here. Jump up here. Come on up here. Come on. There you go. Now, where are you going? Come on. You gonna get up here and see it? Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Now maybe you'll be quiet. He's a little Jack Russell Terrier. He gets all wound up. He can't hardly be still. Sometimes he'll sit still if he's in my lap. No, you've already had everything, so you just sit down and be quiet. We got about another minute, it looks like. When that thing hits 8 o'clock, we'll go ahead and start. We got about 23 or 4 on, it looks like. All righty, it's about 8 o'clock. Well, folks, we've been following the hurricane on the Outer Banks pretty much. We got a lot of viewers from down east, and trying to help them out with everything they need, and keep the information going to them just in case anything happens. And they need plenty of information. That was something that lacked during Hurricane Helene. And it was, they released all that water out of the dams, and they had absolutely no warning whatsoever that it was coming. And, in Lahaina, they had those fires and the alarms didn't work. And in California, they had no water in the fire hydrant. So it's kind of strange how all that stuff works out. And nobody seems to know that the dangers are coming. So we tried to make sure that as long as they had cellular service, they had a way to get information. And I got a notification about dinner time today that it looks like all of the ferries and stuff are back in service, and that's a good thing. And so everybody can start going back that evacuated and get about their business and everything. How you doing, Mary? Yep, it sounds peculiar to me too. Sure does. It's kind of strange how these major catastrophes had no warning, and that seems to be par for the course. And but we've got I don't know if you're aware of it, but China's got another lockdown going on in a certain province, and they've instituted the Charlie Oscar Victor Indigo Delta style rules. And I don't know if many people are aware of this. It happened earlier in the month and they kept it real quiet. But they've got 7,000 cases of the disease and it's spread by mosquitoes. So right now, the majority of the infections are in a place called Foshan. And the patients are being made to stay in the hospital for at least a week. 2-week quarantine at the house was dropped since the disease cannot be transmitted between people. The authorities are include the mosquito nets and things for people, and warning fines of people who fail to disperse the standing water if they've got any on their property. So, folks, I don't know if you like me, but it sure is a lot of crazy stuff going on, things that are happening in the animal and insect populations that seem to be way out of the normal, kind of like our weather. And, it didn't rain today. Can you believe that? Today's day 22, and it's rained 19 of the 22 days. And we hadn't had anything but partly cloudy skies, sunny conditions today. And we've got a lot of stuff done. I was helping my dad do some weed eating and picking up sticks and sawing off limbs and all that good stuff. And hello, Lisa. I see you on there. I was helping him today. Got nailed about 10 times by mosquitoes. Fist is swelled up. Got 4 times on the hand, both elbows, back of my neck, my leg. And I've never ran that far from these yellow jackets as I did today. I bet I ran 100 yards and they were still on me. I don't know where they were coming from. I don't know if they were attached to my pants legs or what they were doing. And it was something else. But we've been trying to get this done, get all that stuff weed eated, and we hadn't been able to do it because it won't quit raining. And I got all my chicken drinkers clean today and the feeders and all that good stuff. I've been trying to get that done. But it's just been so wet and so nasty, ain't been able to do anything. But, as far as the weather goes, I'm hoping they'll leave us alone for a while. I didn't see any spraying today. I kept watching. Didn't see any spraying. And generally, if they're not spraying, we're not going to have anything in the next 24 to 48 hours, but who knows? It is supposed to cool down quite a bit here for any of you that's on the East Coast. We had that cold front that pushed air out to sea and kept that thing from hitting the mainland. And that was a good thing, but we're going to have some cool weather. I think tomorrow the high is going to be about 73. And that's going to make it kind of chilly in the water. We was planning on trying to go to the lake tomorrow. My daughter goes back to college Thursday, so she wanted to go down to the lake tomorrow. So we was going to try to go after church. and let her try to water ski and tube and stuff. But you know, I don't know if y'all have noticed anything, but have you noticed we just don't have too many insects this year? My dad was mentioning when we were weed eating today, he said, you know, I'm not seeing many sweat bees. I said, well, come think of it, I hadn't either, but I've also not seen hardly any hummingbirds, and I've not seen any cardinals. That's the state bird in North Carolina, and I've not seen a cardinal since probably early spring. And there's another thing I've not seen either, and that's robins, the red-breasted robin. I've not seen any of those. And you folks may have seen some if you're in an area where they're migrating or something, but I've not seen any of those. I did hear of a lot of people saying that they have had a lot of trouble with their tomatoes. As soon as they pick them, they have no life in the house. They set them on the cabinet that night, and by the next morning, they've already started getting brown spots on the inside, not on the outside, and it's starting to show up in the skin on the outside there. Not on the outside, but you can see it from the outside. I've had a lot of people say that their okra was extremely tough. It grew, but the plants didn't get as tall as they normally did, and it was extremely tough. Now, that may have come because we had 100-degree heat for I don't know how long. It was pretty bad. And then it went into raining for almost a month, it seemed like. And so the okra was really tough. Now, we did get a lot of tomatoes now, but mine did the same thing. I would have them, they would start leaking pretty quick. In a day or two, they'd start leaking if you didn't go ahead and do something with them, make tomato sauce or something like that out of them. But let's see, what does Mary say here? But we usually bothered big time by Japanese beetles, but not this year. You know, I ain't thought about that. That's the same thing. We normally are too. They're real bad about eating up my rose bushes. And I normally have to put a Japanese beetle trap out to catch them and haul them away. And then they'll wind up getting in my garden. But you know, that's a good observation. I hadn't thought about that, but that's the truth. No Japanese beetles this year. Appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see. Burke Springs has got a question. Have any of y'all had your hummingbirds leave? Mine left today, South Central North Carolina, 20 miles from the South Carolina border. Well, if you've seen some hummingbirds, I saw two, and then I hadn't seen them no more. Normally we have a whole lot of them. My wife's got a lot of hummingbird feeders out on the front porch, and she loves to see them. And we're not having any visitors at all this year. Let's see if anybody else has got anything. Paul says, had a few beetles, but disappeared quickly. Yep, I hadn't seen any. Yeah, this old dog, I appreciate that. Yeah, he's a good-looking old dog. He got real big. We took him to the vet, and the vet said he was obese. He weighed 22 pounds. So we put him on a diet. He's back down to 15 pounds. She said that's where he needed to be. He was on a dry dog food diet. Now, folks, if you don't think dry dog food's not any good, just keep feeding it to your dogs. They just get fat and lethargic. And that's what he did. And we left it out for him, and he'd just go by and graze. But we took that dry dog food away from him. That's what she said to do. And he slimmed down real good. He was having hip problems and everything. And we took him off that dry dog food. He couldn't even sit down. When you see now, he can sit down, no problem. He's not having any more hip and joint problems. And that's because that dry dog food. Let's see, Victoria says, had lots of little frogs here, but we're a blue state. I understand. Belinda says, just two rufous hummers, lots of bees. Now, we didn't have many bees. Now, we had a lot of red wasp this year. And today, I found out we had a lot of yellow jackets. because they flat tore me up. But as far as honeybees, I saw very, very few in the garden. Sure did. Let's see. Mary says the beetles eat the crap out of our grapes and the blackberries, but not this year. We do have mosquitoes, but haven't had as much chiggers this year. Yeah, you're right. Now, I hadn't been in any areas where there's a whole lot of chiggers. I go in the woods a lot, but it's not heavy, tall grass or anything. So I hadn't been in there and got a hold of any chiggers this year, but I'm sure there's some out there. We always have them real bad here, but I'll find out here because deer season comes in another week and a half here, so I'll go be going down in the woods and everything. I'm gonna try to get my freezer filled up because the beef prices are going to go out the roof. Let's see. We lost a German Shepherd. His hip also couldn't get up to 8 or 9 years old with only the dry food. Yeah, you're right. That dry food's no good, folks. They cook all the protein and stuff out of it, then they add it into them pellets, and it's no good. And a lot of the animal feed is also all genetically modified stuff. And if you don't think it'll shorten your lifespan, look at what it's doing to your dogs, and that'll give you a big indication of what it will do to you as well. Let's see, Victoria says that her gas is super expensive, over $4, but we have yep, I know, your blue governor, yep, who taxes our gas. Yeah, we have about 48 cents a gallon tax here in North Carolina, and luckily our gas is still running anywhere, depending on where you buy it, from $2.69 to $2.99. That's how big of a gap it is. We also have a major fuel farm located in Wilmington and also one in Greensboro. It's a Colonial Pipeline, and that's where all the tankers fill up from. Yep, you're right, Lisa. The bentonite clay will help the bites and stuff. Yeah, I used to do a lot of drilling and putting in fiber optics underground, and I know all too well about the bentonite. Sure do. And Victoria said they've had lots of bees. Eric W. says the mosquitoes haven't been bad at all this year in central Alaska. Usually they are not too bad at all. Well, I'm telling you what, speaking of Alaska, last time I was there, that's been a while now, they like to carry me off down on the Russian River down there while I was salmon fishing. And of course, there was a lot of people down there fishing for those things. They were running. This was in right around July. We were catching the, not the king salmon, but the red salmon, I think it was. And we caught our limit pretty quick. And but the mosquitoes were terrible. Let's see, Belinda says 383 where she's at today. In the fuel, it was 362 yesterday. So, well, folks, I do want to tell you what we've got coming up. We're going to be talking about our power grid. We talked about all the data centers that were coming into western North Carolina that was going to be taking advantage of cheap land prices, and they were all settling down on the Catawba River to take advantage of the hydroelectric dams. And then there was one that was going to be taking advantage of the Yadkin PD River hydroelectric dams. Alcoa Generating does the power there, but Duke Power is the one that they send it to and controls it. Duke Power pretty much owns everything in North Carolina and South Carolina, with the exception of the co-ops. And now the co-ops buy all their power from Duke Power, so there's a huge monopoly with the power here. And so we're going to be talking about the power grid and the dangers and the challenges that it's facing. And the big thing is there's an urgency for additional power that we're not getting. And they're already now having to purchase power from, I can't remember the name of the the power grid. I think it's like the PCM grid or something like that out of Ohio and West Virginia. Duke Power's been buying power from them because they can't generate enough, and it all boils down to they're retiring all the coal-fired power plants way too soon. So we're going to be talking about that because it's coming with all this data center and stuff coming. There's going to be a major shortage of power unless something's done and some things are built. We're going to be talking about that. We're also, tomorrow night, going to be talking about something most people didn't think about during the Hurricane Aaron, and that's all the sea turtles. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the sea turtle nest tomorrow night. We was going to do that tonight, but major problems with YouTube uploading videos. It sat there this morning for about 6 hours, never uploaded, and I said, well, shoot, we'll just go live tonight, and we'll try to upload it over the night time and see if we can get it to go. But we're going to be talking about the sea turtles and the nesting and stuff that takes place all up and down the North Carolina coast, and what happened, what they found since Hurricane Aaron's pulled out, and stuff like that. Well, folks, we've been at it about 17, 18 minutes, and we're going to kind of pull back and get a shower. Been mowing today. I just threw it on this shirt because it was nasty, I'm telling you. And pretty much did that all day. Mowed up there around the chicken lot and got the yard mowed, and cut a lot of limbs and chainsawed and all that stuff. And we're just going to kind of sit back a little bit tonight. My wife and my daughter went up to explore a cave up in Virginia today. My daughter does caving, and she likes to go into these caves and things, and it's places where the general public don't generally go. You have to go in with a guide, and she goes into these quite a bit, and she enjoys going. She's very athletic and thin and tiny and stuff. She can fit in these places. I couldn't even hardly get through, squeeze between the rocks. So I was going to try to go with her out in South Dakota in the Rushmore Cave, and they had a box going out front on the deck. And if you could fit through this square that they had you to go through, you had to put your shoulders out and weasel your way through. You could go on the cave exploration. I couldn't even get my shoulders through the hole. So I didn't get to go, but she went. Took her about 2.5 hours to go down in that cave, and she went where only 30 people had ever been before. And she enjoys that kind of stuff. But she goes back to college this Thursday, so we're going to spend as much time as we can with her between now and then, and then send her back up to Rhode Island to go to school. Well, folks, I appreciate you joining me here this evening. Looks like we've been at it about 20 minutes, and just be in prayer for all these folks. There's still, some stuff got flooded down on the coast, and I'm sure they're going to find out real quick how that insurance works. Now, most of them got hurricane riders, so they may be okay. I don't know. We hadn't worth the ink that it's wrote with. So, but anyway, that's kind of what we got coming up. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about the sea turtles, and we got a segment we're going to talk about all the power and what it looks like for us in this area, and who's buying power from who, and all that kind of stuff. And we've got several things that we want to talk about. Another big thing. Let me hit on this right quick. Holly has gone to this morning. She's mad as fire about this illegal mining. Now, folks, it's still going on. I'm going to tell you, it is still going on, even though they had the Superior Court in Boone, District Court, give them a cease and desist. That just might as well have been thrown out the wind. I don't know why the sheriff ain't went in there and started seizing property, and the Department of Justice and all that, but they still mining. Holly said they was mining There's equipment running. There's also been a big bridge built across the Nolichucky River. We knew that. We had spotted that. And I've been questioning that because anytime you build a bridge across navigable waters, there has to be all kinds of environmental studies done. There has to be studies by the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. There has to be hydro inspections done. There's a number of things that have to take place. You can't just come in and throw a bridge up. So I've questioned who give the okay to build the bridge. Now, this is not a throw it up bridge. This is a seriously built bridge. It's big enough and heavy enough to hold a number of dump trucks and heavy equipment. So Holly went up this morning. She was going to check it out. And she's already been sending me pictures. And I told her when she got back, I said, we may just put you on a phone call and we may just go live with this thing and let you tell what you've seen. And I've got a second phone. I said we can let you call in on one of them and we'll throw some pictures up. You can email me the pictures and we'll flip them around on the laptop. And that way people can see it, because she's all fired up, and everybody needs to be. It's a big mess up there. I'm telling you, if you've been in there, every corner you round, you better be watching because those dump trucks are running wide open. I say wide open. A car can barely do 35 miles an hour, and the dump trucks is doing 25 fully loaded. And they rocks slosh out of the truck all the time. There's rocks all in the road, even on the new paved areas. There's rocks everywhere. And you meet one of those trucks, they're taking up the whole road because there's nowhere to build the roads. I mean, the right tire's on the edge of the dirt, and the left tire's on your side of the road. And you don't have much room to do anything other than just about stop. And you can't turn out much because you'll wind up in the river. But we're going to be talking to Holly and the illegal mining. I've talked to Cody a couple nights ago, Cody Peterson. He's the one that's been really ramrodding this thing up there. He's been a nail in their foot and a thorn in their side. And I talked to him the other night, and I told him, I said, I'm going to record this conversation so that we can keep all our facts together. So we was also on the line with Ann Vandersteel. You may know her. She's a big investigative reporter on YouTube, and we were all on a call together with Cody and several other people, the Appalachian Reclamation Coalition and things, and we wanted to talk about what's going on and some of the stuff we're seeing, some of the issues we're having, and we've got to keep this stuff front and center. Brother Bud, Appalachian Navy Channel, the Deep River Farm Channel, we've had Peter Santinello in up there, done a big YouTube special with Vlog. We're trying to keep everything that we can do on our end out front and center so people don't forget about us. And so now Ann is looking at coming in, and she wants to come up and see the mine. She lives down in Florida, and so whenever that takes place, I'm going to try to meet with her up there, me and Brother Bud, Cody, and Colton from Cry. And we're gonna see what we can come up with and stir the pot. So that's a good thing. But we're gonna keep stirring and stirring till something's done about it. Because if we don't, they're gonna contaminate the river. Anything that rains now, any rain that falls, all that stuff's coming out of that mine's gonna wash in the river. They've now clear cut the opposite side of the river. We know who owns the property. We've dug down. There's a number of shell corporations we had told you about. We have worked through the shell companies, and we know who owns the property. And we know what's going on. And we're going to start exposing this stuff if it don't get stopped. So there's been a lot of research done by several people in the group and our coalition, and we know who's at the bottom of it, or the top of the food chain, you might say, and we know who owns the land, and we know who the workers are and what the companies are, and they just basically what I said in the beginning. With all these shell companies, what they do, they get served this paper and they go to the bottom of the hill and they change the magnets on the truck to something else, another shell company that's involved. So then they got to figure out who that shell company is, serve them company papers, and then they go back down to the bottom of the hill and they get another one. They've got many shell corporations, and that's what's going on. So I don't know why they don't go in there and just seize the equipment, be done with it, before they contaminate the river with whatever it is they're mining for. They claim it was gravel. If it was gravel, folks, they would have a permit. But avoiding the permit, half filling out applications, not paying the permitting fees, they're hiding something. So if you're just getting rock and gravel, no problem. There's quarries everywhere. But when you running and hiding under shell corporations, you're doing something really shady and illegal, and that's what's going on. If it was legit, you wouldn't be running. So we're going to stir the pot, folks, and just stay tuned. We might not hit on it, but every week or so. But the wheels of justice are slow to turn. So we got to make them spin faster. So our next step is the U.S. Congress, and we're working on that now because North Carolina can't seem to do anything with it unless the federal government's behind it. And that's something we don't know. We don't know who built that bridge. It was thought maybe that maybe the Army Corps of Engineers set up all that stuff and got all the stamp paperwork and all that stuff for that bridge, but we don't know. We've not been able to find out any information on that very well constructed bridge. I'm telling you, it's a nice one. So that's something we're going to do. Well, folks, I appreciate you joining me this evening. I hate we got, it's about 30 minutes long-winded here. So I appreciate you staying tuned and everything. And I appreciate all the support that you've given Operation Mountain Relief, Brother Bud, all the relief centers. I did get an email, I believe it was today, from Amy, and she gave me a list of the needs for the Christ Baptist Church Relief Center there in Newland. So we're going to put that out when we do our talk with the Sea Turtles tomorrow night. And I appreciate you folks joining in, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. Thanks for joining, folks. Y'all have a blessed day.